For me as an Orthodox Christian, my politics is formed by my theology. And so when we're looking for who's the best in the conservative, well, it's Jesus Christ. If we all just actually upheld our faith and promoted our values through our political action, we don't need somebody to save us. Christ has already saved us. It's really about us embodying those virtues and putting those forth in society. That'd be my general opinion in regard to that. And I think Ben Shapiro is, again, Israel first. I think that he is flip-flopped on many of his different positions. You can look back at how he was so anti-Trump in 2016, and then all of a sudden he flipped, and now he was a great Trump supporter. Andrew Tate, to me, he as a person is incredibly immoral, and I don't see him as a paragon of virtue in any way.
O Lord of hosts, be with us, for we have none other help in times of adversity but thee. O Lord of hosts, have mercy on us.
And we're going to be discussing who is the worst conservative, or at least worst actor or commentator or politician in the conservative movement. There's plenty to choose from. I don't know why my software is still not working, and so I apologize. The intro music, I can't get the graphics to work. I'm going to have to focus on that. I have no idea what's going on. But anyways, this is an open panel, so the link is already available in the video description. Let me share that out with you guys. Here we go. So you guys see the link. I just posted the link in the live chat here. So if you guys want to join, please do so. Please do so. We are now live, and we got a whole list to choose from, guys. I've already saw a few people make some comments in the live chat. I probably agree with many of them. In regards to who's the worst in the conservative movement, I have my own personal preference. Who I think the one that I probably can stand the least, I'd have to say for myself, is Ben Shapiro. And I think Ben Shapiro is, again, Israel first. I think that he is flip-flopped on many of his different positions. You can look back at how he was so anti-Trump in 2016, and then all of a sudden he flipped, and now he was a great Trump supporter because, Trump moved the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, which is all part of prophecy if you're Jewish and you believe that the Messiah is coming. So I believe Ben Shapiro, and I'll tell you what, who's really been making a run for it is Jeremy Boring. I don't know, did you guys see the tweets, or what do you ever call them, a post on X with Jeremy Boring, who is the CEO of Daily Wire, talking about how if you question America, if you question 9/11, if you question the vax, if you question all these different things about the military-industrial complex, you're anti-American. Obviously, there's been a recent controversy between the Daily Wire and Candace Owens, and there was supposed to be some type of scheduled debate between Candace and Ben, but I guess that has been no longer in the works. From my understanding, again, that spat, I think that was like 2 weeks ago, going back and forth, is Ben Shapiro basically told her that he would host a debate on the Daily Wire in his studio, but she had to be there like at 5:30 on a Monday, and she was in England, of which apparently Jeremy Boring knew that they were. So there's that. So I think my personal opinion, I wouldn't say all of Daily Wire. Obviously, Matt Walsh had the What is a Woman documentary. Okay, I think that was fairly good, very popular amongst the boomers and the normie crowd. Michael Knowles, not exactly my cup of tea. Very much feels like sort of the Ivy League, well-to-do type of family guy. I mean, not that he's a family guy, but it seems like, I don't know a story, but it seems like he kind of comes from that echelon, was a Yale student. So I don't have the biggest beef with Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles, but Jeremy Boring and Ben Shapiro specifically. But did you see on Jeremy Boring, his Wikipedia page? got changed. If you go to his early life section, um, I believe he's been open about it, that he is a Christian, but he's Jewish. And his early life section on his Wikipedia page got changed right after he tweeted uh, about how you're anti-American if you question all this stuff. And then he was still talking about the success of the jibby jabs, which we know are tied to all these different problems. So I don't think those two are serious actors that you can trust whatsoever. But I got more. I'm curious what people think about Glenn Beck. I've never been a big Glenn Beck guy, but if you remember back in the Obama era, he was kind of the conspiracy conservative guy on Fox News and connecting all this stuff with Acorn and the birth certificate, of which, okay. But he's Mormon. He has Blaze TV. Apparently, he has been limited, some of his content creators, on what they're allowed to talk about and what they're allowed to say. So I'm curious what some of you guys think about. Michael Knowles is Jay. Michael Knowles is Jay Dyer from Timu. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Blue Skittles says Glenn Beck endorsed Hillary. I'm not surprised. I mean, who Ted Cruz was the big supporter of Ben Shapiro in 2016. Did you guys see that Ted Cruz apparently just dumped like $500,000 worth of stock from Goldman Sachs, of which his wife is like a high financial advisor. She's somewhere in the top bureaucracy of Goldman Sachs. So, of course, insider trading. And how many times have we heard Ted Cruz go on and on about the border? Well, what has he done? Absolutely nothing. In fact, the Senate just passed, what was it, 91 or $94 billion to go to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. Meanwhile, we have an open southern border. So, these content creators, ridiculous. Tucker Carlson, I saw somebody said that Tucker Carlson is the worst, and I'd have to disagree. Now, I'm not a Tucker Carlson stan. I'm not here to defend everything Tucker Carlson has to say, but if you watched his most recent interview, was talking a little bit about demographics and some of the anti-white stuff coming out of the universities. I don't know if many of the other content conservatives in the movement talking about that, but we all know that Tucker has ties to the CIA. His dad worked for the CIA. And he pretty much said the general, conservative consensus until really about 2 or 3 years ago. Until he got on Fox, but it was really in the last 4 years that he really has kind of come out against many of the mainstream narratives. So I'm sure some of you guys may hate Tucker Carlson. Again, this is an open panel, guys. So hop on. We don't have anybody on yet. Again, that link is in the video description. Let me share that out with you guys again. We got Ivan out there. Is Jose out there? We got anybody that can hop on. This is free. As long as when you come on, just keep it TOS appropriate, guys. I know there's a lot of spicy topics that could potentially be brought up. So just be aware that we are on YouTube, and when you come on, just keep it a little TOS appropriate. But Jorgen throws in $10, says Glenn Beck is the reason I never trusted Trump, and he had very good reason. And he had very good reason why. Then Glenn Beck totally flip-flopped immediately after the election, and I learned not to trust him either. Yeah, I agree. And I'm not here to defend Trump. We could get into that. Maybe some of you guys think Trump's the worst in the conservative movement. I have a few more names that we can go through, but I'll tell you my general opinion, because somebody mentioned, well, why don't you talk about who's the best in the conservative movement? And I would say that Christ is the best in the conservative movement. So my politics is informed by my Orthodox Christian faith. And so when it comes to issues like abortion or national sovereignty or property or the opportunity to build families and the promotion of nuclear families and having children, like this is all informed by my theological beliefs. And I know that Mike Johnson, who I have as listed as one of the worst in regards to the political scene, I have, Lindsey Graham, Mike Johnson, Greg Abbott, and I'm going to speak to a little bit about that in just a second. But, for me as an Orthodox Christian, my politics is formed by my theology. And so when we're looking for who's the best in the conservative, well, it's Jesus Christ. If we all just actually upheld our faith and promoted our values through our political action, we don't need somebody to save us. Christ has already saved us. It's really about us embodying those virtues and putting those forth in society. That'd be my general opinion in regards to that. So I think we don't really need to focus on who's the best, because it's really informed by Christ. But I also include in the thumbnail, if you saw, Andrew Tate, because, is he part of the conservative movement? I don't know. Certainly, it seems like he's incredibly influential among some of the young men and the growth of Islam, unfortunately, in the West. And I am no fan of Islam as an Orthodox Christian. But again, if we look at Andrew Tate, certainly he gets some of the conspiracies right, some of the happenings around in society correct. But he's also a polygamist. I don't know if he's officially married, but he has multiple baby mamas, and he promotes having multiple baby mamas. And, that's not Christian, and that's not conservative. And the fact that he made his money off, webcam services of luring lonely men into the belief that some beautiful girl with big breasts on a webcam is going to be their girlfriend, like, that's immoral. And so, to me, he as a person is incredibly immoral, and I don't see him as a paragon of virtue in any way. Now, another name I had, and if you saw in the thumbnail, is Kanye West. So Kanye West just had a recent interview, which I didn't watch the whole thing. I can hardly listen to that guy. This is a little of a divergence, but when Kanye West, I did like the Jesus is King album. I wasn't a big fan of Donda. He had a couple good songs there, but you could see him sort of veering away from that Christ is King message. And now he wants to build, was it Yeezy Porn or Yay Porn Company, Yeezy Porn LLC or something like that. He's been posting about. So, they went after Kanye West. He said a lot of controversial things. He was never that intelligent. I never bought the whole conservative thing about how Kanye is some, hidden genius. Yeah, maybe he's really gifted with music or creating beats and sampling. He was really big in including like 60s, 70s, 80s samples into hip hop beats. But you can hardly listen to that guy speak and think that he's incredibly intelligent. Like, what's going on? Yeah. Jesse says Kanye was reprogrammed. I mean, they clearly got to him in one way or another. So he marries that woman, Bianca, and which I'm not sure. Maybe you guys can clarify. I believe that she's Jewish. And so he had that whole thing about loving Hitler, went on Alex Jones, had all those controversies, and was still promoting Christ, was still promoting Christianity, generally speaking. Was posting icons of St. Moses the Black. If you're an Orthodox Christian, we all love St. Moses the Black and appreciate his martyrdom for the church. But then he gets with this Bianca chick. He's always going out in public with her, like, where she's pretty much naked. I mean, like, almost quite literally naked, like, with see-through clothing. She's wearing like thongs and like pasties over her nipples. And now he wants to create a porn company. And I saw in one conversation, not incredibly recent, maybe it was a few months ago, where he said that Jesus didn't help him in his time of need or something. I mean, I don't know. But in the interview, he did say he's still like pro-Trump, pro-conservative, pro-MAGA. But I mean, the guy's a degenerate. The guy is a degenerate. I mean, how can you go from, what was it, 2020, 2021, telling everybody about the evils of pornography and why we all have to stop doing it? Now he wants to create his own porn company and he wants a star in it. I mean, come on. So another person I have on the list is Sean Hannity. I'm not a big Sean Hannity fan, right? I'm not a big Fox News in general fan, but Sean Hannity wears his little CIA badge when he's live on Fox News, and he always has the worst neocon normie conservatives on that do nothing at all for our country, and they're always about to get somebody, right? The whole thing about the Russia collusion, it was always getting ready to, somebody's getting ready to go to jail. Mueller's getting ready to go. Nothing happens. I mean, Sean Hannity is one of the like to me, another very irritating one of these conservative commentators where he's always about to, he's always on the leading edge of prosecuting somebody or coming to the conclusion of some type of Democratic conspiracy, and then nothing ever happens. I know Jesse Waters has been he's the conservative on Fox News that has filled the role of Tucker Carlson. So he's taken over Tucker Carlson's slot. I'm not a big Jesse Waters fan. I don't think he's incredibly intelligent. He basically just can read a monitor. He's a handsome guy. I think he cheated on his wife with his new wife or something of that nature. So again, not exactly a paragon of virtue either. And my problems with Donald Trump is that he's not very Christian. So yeah, Trump says things that I agree with. I think I love that he's not politically correct. But come on, he's not exactly emblematic of my Orthodox virtues and Christian faith either. So Pim says Andy looks like an Ewok. Yeah, I could see that. I can see that. So guys, again, this is an open panel. So anybody wants to hop on, you want to tell me who exactly you think is the worst, or maybe you think that I got something wrong here, feel free. That link is in the video description. It's also in the live chat. Let me share that also on my other YouTube channel. Oh, it is. Okay, I've already put it up there. So if you guys want to hop on, you want to let me know what you think, feel free. And no, you don't have to be Orthodox to come on. So let me just highlight a few super chats real quick. Unfortunately, guys, my software is not working, so I can't pull up the Streamlabs onto the screen. I have no idea why it's doing that. But Riley Keller throws in $10. He says, despite being as fake and astroturfed as one could possibly be, I'd say that Konstantin Kisin, he's very submissive, clearly motivated by revenge for the expulsion of his oligarch father from Russia by Putin in the early 90s. Yeah, he's the one that is with the other, British guy, and they're the ones that are always kind of hammering the radical left and stuff. I could see that. Riley. And Storm the Cat throws in $5, says, I don't trust Ben Shapiro. He's shielded for the jab, and he made anti-white comments. Yeah. For me, another guy that's in the sphere that I can't stand very much, but I wouldn't say he's the worst. He really doesn't have that much influence. But, if you guys have ever watched the Patrick Bet David podcast, he has a guy named Adam Sosnick on there, and he thinks he's like an Andrew Tate type figure in the manosphere, and talks about masculinity and dating. And that dude is such a goober. I cannot stand to listen to Adam Sosnick. Now, I don't think he's the worst in the conservative movement. I mean, he's been a lifelong Democrat, but now he's adjacent to the conservative movement through PBD, and I cannot stand that guy. Is so dumb. Adam Sosnick is so dumb. I can't listen to that dude. I mean, Patrick Bet David, I'm curious what you guys think of him. He has a lot of things that I would agree with. He seems to be a traditionally masculine guy. He kind of wafers back and forth. I remember one time he was on Joe Rogan and basically legitimated the 2020 election, which I'm not going to get into that because of YouTube, but I think there's some serious questions regarding the election. So I'm not a huge PBD fan, and I question kind of where he comes from as well, me personally. But I'm curious what you guys think. Another one I have is Dennis Prager. So the Prager University. I don't know if you guys I saw clips of his recent debate between Chuck Yeager and Dave Smith. And I just saw a few clips with Dave Smith. He got annihilated. He got absolutely annihilated on the Israel-Palestine debate. So, I think you could make a case for Dennis Prager, although me personally, I'm going to go with Ben Shapiro. I think Ben Shapiro's probably my least favorite out of the conservative commentators. I know some people don't like Candace Owens. They think she's a grifter. I think she said some good things. She may be a grifter. I'm not sure. Don't know her. But she certainly challenged the sort of normative narrative in multiple ways that I think is beneficial. So Yeah, and then we have, politicians that I'll let me check the dono chat real quick, see if anybody threw anything on the dono chat. So guys, again, this is an open panel. This isn't a monologue. I'm waiting for somebody to hop on here. So if you guys want to share your thoughts, please do so. Anybody is welcome to come on. I just ask that you keep it TOS appropriate. Obviously, we know which topics we have to avoid. But come on, come one, come all. System Blower throws in $5. Says PBD yelling at Anthony Weiner about his dingoling was hilarious. I have seen that one. That's why PBD's done some good stuff, and he's made a few. I just don't. It's just not my thing. In regards to conservative, I don't get my opinions from Patrick Bet David. That's for sure. Somebody says Pearl would he need near the top? I think Pearl would be near the top. I don't have a strong opinion about Pearl. I know she's friends with the Wilsons and she followed me on X, but my only thing with Pearl is she's not the most articulate and well-informed person on the topics that she discusses, and she is a bit of a troll, right? So she does a lot of engagement farming and stuff like that. So it is what it is. I don't even see Pearl as really a conservative conservative commentator per se. It's really just the whole manosphere red pill dating shtick, which let's face it, like somebody like Rollo Tomasi is way more articulate and informative on those topics than Pearl is. But, God bless her. I wish that her Catholic faith informed more of the opinion she has, but hey, that's neither here nor there. Ortho Cuber, been a COTEL crew member for 2 months. Thank you so much, brother. Just renewed his membership. Said, have you seen the Ultimate Alpha Male by Freedom Tunes? It's hilarious, but it also shows that the manosphere is far from conservative. Well, I would agree. It's not very conservative in my opinion. And that's where, I think I just posted a video. It's going to be up on the website here very soon. And it is me talking about, I got my own little take. I'm not going to talk about it here just because, again, not wanting to violate any TOS, but on the Palestinian protest, we're seeing the National Guard being advocated by Congressman Mike Johnson. We saw Greg Abbott, who I have right here. Both Mike Johnson and Greg Abbott I have as potentially some of the worst in the conservative movement as regards to the political side. Now you'd say, Greg Abbott, I thought he's a great conservative governor. Well, is he? Is he? How long has he been dealing with the border? Does he do anything about it? He seems like he's only forced to save face. You look at what Oklahoma just issued a law that if you're an illegal immigrant and you are found in Oklahoma, you can be jailed and you are not allowed to come back to the state. So, Abbott could have done something like this. Of course he doesn't. And he has a pretty good AG and Ken Paxton, but Abbott talking about how he wants to prosecute these college kids that are protesting for Palestine for hate speech. This is ridiculous. And you look at the ban on TikTok, you look at this push for hate speech laws in regards to specific demographics in the United States. Very interesting. Very interesting.